Hare Krishna, good evening, welcome all of you all for our weekly Ramayana Katha. We have been already doing the Ramayana every Wednesday regularly. So the same continuing the same series. We have already reached the third chapter, and we have been just discussing how Sage Valmiki visits Sage Narad Muni visits Valmiki and gives him clarifies his questions and doubts, and then he tells the whole story of Lord Rama, the Ramayana. And then when Narad Muni is gone, Valmiki Muni, along with his Shishya Bharadwaj Muni, goes to take bath in the Tamasa river, where he sees a hunter killing a pair of birds, and out of the pair of birds, one bird, the male bird is killed, and they were in the romantic sexual enjoyment. And that time, the male bird is killed, and the female bird cries piteously, and that angers Valmiki Rishi, and he gives him a curse, and that curse comes out in the form of a shloka, beautiful shloka. So then he's wondering, how come I cursed, and I cursed also in the form of a shloka, I mean, the beautiful poetic form. And then Brahmaji arrives in front of him and tells him, no, you have to compose the entire Ramayana, what you had heard from Narad Muni, and that you have to compile in a way that the same four letter meters you should have, and the same way. And don't worry, that shloka, don't contemplate much about that curse what you give in the form of a shloka. That was because of me, it was because of my inspiration you had given that curse. So then Brahmaji leaves, and then we start with the third chapter, where Valmiki Rishi now plans to start composing the Ramayana. So I would like to ask one question to all our viewers. Don't you feel it's quite funny and abrupt when the Valmiki Ramayana starts? The Valmiki Ramayana started with a very first verse where Narad Muni is introduced, and Narad Muni enters the ashram of Valmiki, and without any further talk or welcome, directly there is a question, a bombardment of questions given by Valmiki Muni to Narad Muni. Ponyasya Viryavan, Dhairyavan, this, that, Jitakrodha. And it's all a series of 16 questions asked. We have discussed that at large already in our earlier episodes. So, why and how did Lord, this Ramayana starts like this? Sorry, why does the Ramayana start like this? Quite abrupt. It isn't having, a typical way in which any story or any Puran or Itihas starts. Everything starts with like there was a king and this and that, but this starts abruptly. So, Priya Singh Mataji would like to answer this question.
No, Prabhuji, I don't know.
I had mentioned
Prabhuji,
once.
yeah, I remember something, but I don't know if that is the right answer. I'll just tell you. That the actual Ramayana, what Valmiki Muni have written, is starting from the further chapters, but this is the background that is
No, no, no,
given by. Okay.
no, no.
Mhm.
Actual answer for this goes is very important. Please understand. Lord Rama had sent Sita along with Lakshmana to Valmiki Muni's ashram. Sita is pregnant. You all know this part, right? We all know there is a dhobi. एक धोबी ने कुछ बोला और उसकी वजह से भेजा. First and foremost, वाल्मीकि रामायण में there is no धोबी. Okay, there is no washerman in Valmiki Ramayana. It's a different, and I don't know. By Ramcharitmanas it is there, but in Valmiki Ramayana it is not there. So this dhobi character is the same, because in Valmiki Ramayana it is said that one of the spies of Lord Rama had gone around the city in the night, and he could hear the people say. He just mentions the word, people are saying like this. And then immediately he asked Sita, what do you want? I mean, we'll discuss when we'll come to that Uttarakanda. So he asked Sita, what is your desire? You're pregnant. So, it's usually a pregnant lady is asked, whatever your desires are, we'll try to fulfill it. He says, I want to go and stay in an ashram surrounded by sages. सब ऋषि मुनियों के साथ रहना है मुझे. फायदा क्या होगा? The biggest benefit is I can stay there nicely and my child can listen to all Vedic chants and mantras. It's a very serene atmosphere, and I would like to go and stay there. And immediately taking this into consideration, Lord Ramchandraji immediately sends the very next day Sita to the forest, that is to Valmiki Muni's ashram, and that too on the Lakshmana goes to leave. Now there are 2-3 things which we got to understand. First and foremost, he did not abandon Sita. कई लोग आके बोलते हैं कि अरे उसने तो अबैंडन कर दिया सीता को अबैंडन कहीं भी नहीं किया. He sent her specifically to Valmiki Muni's ashram. The reason is it is said to be Valmiki itself means anthill. So anthill means, and he had done so much of tapasya, there was an anthill formed, and that means he is supposed to be the son of the earth. And Sita herself is the daughter of Mother Earth because she was got from the earth. So what does that mean? जब बेटी pregnant होती है, in India at least, the general system is she goes to her mother's house. And if her mother is not there, she goes to her brother's house, which is as good as mother's house for her delivery. So nowhere Ramchandraji has not done any crime. Now, कई बार लोग बिना पढ़े सोचे समझे एक आदमी ने बिहार में केस भी कर दिया भगवान. He made a case, filed a case against Lord Ramchandra. He has done atrocity by sending a pregnant lady to forest, abandoning a pregnant wife. That's unscrupulous. Okay. So first and foremost, this clearly explains that he had sent her to his mother's house. Second, he had sent her, he had asked Lakshmana to leave her in the vicinity of Valmiki Muni's ashram. Now, this point is a pivotal point where sage Valmiki is for a split second confused. जिस व्यक्ति को मैंने भगवान माना था, the one whom I am considering as God, is he the same person who has abandoned his wife? So this is like a question. I mean, he is doubting his own reasoning or his own considerations. He had been considering Lord Ramchandraji as God himself, but then seeing this small, uncommon behavior of sending Sita to the forest, sending to his hermitage, he wonders, how could the king do such a thing? So is he really God? Would God do such a thing? So, of course, the further reasons behind this, I'll discuss later when we'll discuss the Uttarakhand. So we'll have to wait a couple of years, don't worry. But yes, it will be a long time. Because we have started the Balkand now. I don't know how many years the Balkand will take. Then Uttarakhand is the last phase of the Ramayana. So, nevertheless, there are various reasons why Lord got separated from his wife. We'll discuss at large. But the biggest point is, it is at that point he was confused and wondering, why did Ramchandraji abandon Sita? And at that confused state, जब भी व्यक्ति को कोई आध्यात्मिक सवाल होता है, anything spiritual or transcendental, he cannot ask this to a materialistic person. He was in that tension, he was in that confusion, and that is the time when Narad Muni appeared there. And then immediately, as soon as the great Tapasvi Vangvidam Narad Muni appeared there, immediately Valmiki Muni asked him directly, who is there in this world? He is not asking, is Ramchandraji God? Or he is not asking this. What he is asking? Who is there at this time of this world? Is there anyone who is Dharmagyasya, Viragyasya? Because he finds this is adharma. Dharmagya means righteousness. And he is doing an unrighteous thing. This is what Valmiki feels. So uske liye, for a split second, he is confused. Ramchandra ji ne kaise Sita ko bhej diya? This is not expected from him, and this is adharma, this is wrong, and is he really virya? Virya agar tha to aisa kyun wife ko chhod diya? And virya means not just brave, one who can protect his wife. He's a king. How come some people have talked, and just because of people some talking, he has abandoned his wife? So, of course, there's a very nice. The same question is asked by Lakshmana to Sumantra when he going back. Lakshmana is crying, and Sumatra is asking Sumantra, "How could my brother do this? My elder brother was like God. How could he abandon his wife, who's like a mother to me?" And that time, Sumatra says, "This was long distant. I'll tell you the past story," and then he tells another story. Okay, now let's come back to our chapter 3. So, Damini, can you read from the first verse, the translations for the first up to the fourth verse? Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji. After hearing the narration of Lord Rama, completely who is righteousness personified, the virtuous and intelligent sage Valmiki began searching to know more in detail about him. The sage
which words? I want from 1 to 4. I want from 1 to 4.
3, no, third, Sarga 3.
No, 1. Sarga 3 is chapter 1, verse 1.
Sarga 3, yeah, that only I was reading.
Yeah, tell me.
Should I read it again?
Yeah. After hearing the narration of Lord Rama completely, yeah.
Yeah. After hearing the narration of Lord Rama completely, who is righteousness personified, the virtuous and intelligent sage Valmiki began searching to know more in detail about him.
Right.
The sage first touched the water in a perfect Vedic way, performed Achamana to sanctify himself. He then seated himself on a durva grass with its tip facing east with folded hands. Through his yogic meditation, he started searching his goal, Ramayana. Through the yogic
we had discussed at large what is yogic meditation, right? Last session we had discussed that. Yeah, next verse.
Through the yogic power given to him by Brahma, sage Valmiki was able to visualize Ram, Lakshman, Sita, and King Dashrath with his wives and citizens. He could also hear their laughter and conversations, as well as see the course of events and various struggles that happened.
So, Rama Lakshmana Sita Vihi Rajan Dashratena cha Sabharya Sarashtrena Yat Praptam Tatra Tatvatah Hasitam Bhashitam Chaiva Gayatriya Yatcha Cheshtitam Tat Sarvam Dharmaviryena Yathavat Samprapshashati. So, through the Vedic power which was given to him by Brahma. So please understand, this is a situation where we are very close to the situation of Mahabharata. When Sanjaya is able to see what happened earlier. He was dictating the entire Ramayana to the Mahabharata. That is the Bhagavad Gita. He started with the Bhagavad Gita the very first day of the war starts, because the first question is asked in the Bhagavad Gita itself. Dharmakshetra Kurukshetra Samveta Yutsava Mamaka Pandavascheva Kim Akruvas Sanjaya. He asked the first question. Hey, tell me, how could what is happening at this war between my sons and the sons of Pandu? What are they doing? So from that point, Sanjay is able to recall. So he's having, this is because of yogic power. Yogic power gives you the enhanced understanding of what is happening, far off, and what has happened earlier. It is said in the Vedic books, whatever we speak is stored in ether. Five elements, everyone agrees to that? Panchabhuta? कौन से हैं? Tell me. चलो बोलिए, fast.
Fire, water, air,
Okay, I'll tell who will speak. Shraddha Mataji बोली, चलो.
Earth, fire, water, ether, and sky.
Earth, water, fire.
Earth, fire, water, ether,
and sky.
Sky.
Very good. So ether जो है, ether is nothing but space. Like I always explain, when a person dies, why we put cotton in the nose? Because that space collapses. Otherwise, there is a full space through our entire digestive system, right from the mouth to the anus. There is a full digestive system where the space is there. It's like a tube. Whereas you see some tubes, which when the water is there, it is floated. It's expanded, and when the water is gone, it is deflated and it is chapta hua rehta hai. So please understand that we are all having ether. There is ether, tab kaan khule hain, naak khula hai, everything is there. So is ether is one of the elements which is there in the air also. It's there in the sky. So that is where our voices are all recorded. Whenever we say sages, they recollect, going back in their yogic tapa, and they recollect what you have said, what you have done. Everything is monitored. Don't think only CCTV cameras which have come today are monitoring you. Please don't be under the impression. आप किधर भी बैठे रहो, वहां से आपके ऊपर ध्यान. We are all being recorded. We are all under monitoring. We are all being monitored. So in ether, whatever you speak is there, and that can be retrieved. That is why very important here is saying is hasitam bhashitam chaiva gatrya yach cheshtitam tat sarvam dharma viryena. Dharma viryena means by yogic power. Hasitam bhashitam, whatever hasas ke jo baat kiya, whatever was told smilingly, spoken smilingly, जो खुशी खुशी बात किया गया या कुछ और जो भी बातचीत हुई हुई, जो भी हुआ सब कुछ तत्सर्वम. तत्सर्वम मतलब उसमें सब कुछ आ गया, कुछ भी छूटा नहीं है उनके नजर से. एवरीथिंग वाज देयर एज धर्म वीर्य ने यथावत जैसे हुआ था, एज इट इज. नाउ दिस यथावत इज आल्सो एन इंपॉर्टेंट वर्ड. व्हाट डज मीन यथावत? मतलब कई बार हमारे यहाँ न्यूज चैनल्स न्यूज बताते हैं थोड़ा मसाला डाल के, पहले तो चिल्लाते हैं ब्रेकिंग न्यूज दिस दिस देन सम न्यूज, एंड उसमें थोड़ा मसाला डाल के थोड़ा लाइक टेस्टी बनाने. दैट इज नॉट यथावत. यथावत में जैसे हुआ था वो बता देना ही यथावत. सो दैट इज व्हाई ऑलवेज शास्त्र इज परफेक्ट, because it is not having these type of defects. Then yatavat samprapshyasata means as he has visualized, जैसे उसने देखा वैसे ही उसने पूरा रामायण उसने he could see that entire Ramayana. Then sage Valmiki could see the three of them, including Sita Mata. He could also see the truth beyond Lord Rama wandering, truth bound Lord Rama wandering in the forest, and all that he underwent. क्या क्या हुआ उनके साथ सब बराबर याद. By being situated in yogic meditation, this righteous sage Valmiki could see completely all that happened in the past. It was as if he was ready to extract the juice from an amalaka fruit, which is in his palm. Tatha pashyanti dharma atma tat sarvam yoga samrishta pura yat tat nirvatram papman pranava atmaka yatha. Amalaka yatha. As an amalaka fruit. Amalaka is a citrus fruit. जैसे हाथ में अगर आपके हाथ में नींबू हो या मौसम्बी हो या ऑरेंज हो और उसको आप दबाओगे तो क्या निकलेगा? रस निकलेगा. You know, to take very great efforts. आराम से दबाओगे तो भी जूस भर गिरेगा नीचे. वैसे ही here the analogy given here is Valmiki Muni's हाथ में, in his hand, he is having this amalaka fruit. The entire Ramayana is like an amalaka fruit. That means the entire essence of the Ramayana was in his hands. What is essence and what is Ramayana? What is the difference between essence and Ramayana? Can anyone explain? What is considered as essence? Yes, Satrupa Janva Devi Dasi. Yes,
प्रभु जी, एसेंस मीन्स उतना आइडिया नहीं है कि उसमें से हमको क्या मिल रहा है, मतलब सीख क्या मिल रही है एसेंस से.
Okay, Praveen.
Prabhuji, essence means the crux of the story, and Ramayana is like entire the story in a simple one.
No.
Or the
That we have
purpose.
already mentioned. Tat sarvam likh diya usme. That means everything, entire Ramayana. No, the intricacies of it. The intricacies. Now,
There are so many intricacies in this.
जैसे नहीं, you please understand this. जैसे अब कैकेयी क्या सोच रही है, मंथरा क्या सोच रही है, दशरथ क्या सोच रहे हैं, कौशल्या क्या सोच रही है. These are all thought process which is happening. No one's mind is speaking loud. I can remember, from if I just see some CCTV camera, what can you see? You can see some actions. If you are having the audio recording also, you can see what they have spoken. But what they have thought, can you see that? You cannot see. Whereas this is the power of yogic meditation. Through yogic meditation, he could see what was going in their minds also. So Acharyas have given various interpretations for that. But basically, what was going in his mind, उनके मन में क्या हो रहा था, मन में क्या विचार चल रहे थे, ये उसमें समझ में आया. That is why he was holding like as it तत्सर्वम योग समिष्टता पूरा यत् तत्र nirvritram. He's saying everything was there like yatha amalaka. Just like an amalaka fruit, everything was there in his hands. The super intelligent sage Valmiki got ready to compose the Ramayana, which he saw through the Vedic meditation. This composition included not only the pleasures and justified desires, that is, kama, along with economic growth, artha, and also elaborated on the qualities of religiosity, dharma. It is like an ocean full of various gems. It is also enchanting and delighting for all to listen. There are various points to be understood in this sloka. That's why the sloka is starting with super intelligent sage Valmiki got ready to compose a Ramayana, which he saw through his yogic meditation. His composition included not only pleasures but justified desires. हमारा धर्म के 4 पुरुषार्थ क्या है? सॉरी, हमारे इसके वेदों के 4 पुरुषार्थ क्या है? वेदों से हमको क्या 4 पुरुषार्थ मिलता है? धर्म, अर्थ, काम. Right? धर्म, अर्थ, काम, मोक्ष. If any Purana or any composition, if doesn't have these 4 things, dharma, artha, kama and moksha, then it cannot be considered as a scripture. आप उसको एक scripture भी समझ नहीं पाते हैं, या उसको scripture, you can't consider it as a scripture. You can consider it as a story, novel, something of that sort. But अगर किसी चीज को आप ग्रंथ या scripture समझना चाहते हैं, then it should have these 4 things: dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Now, let's understand what is dharma and why dharma, artha and kama दिया हुआ है before moksha. What is dharma? Yes, fast.
Prabhuji, जैसे
Prabhuji
दान किया जा
prescribed
सकता है.
Okay. Okay, Praveen, speak first, then speak.
प्रभुजी जैसे बोलते हैं ना, जिसे धारण किया जा सकता है वही धर्म.
हाँ, धारयति इति धर्म, वो ठीक है, that is different. But यहाँ पे धर्म, अर्थ, काम, मोक्ष. So what does this mean?
Prescribed duties.
One has to perform his prescribed duties. Without performing one's prescribed duties, one cannot desire for artha and kama. हम लोग हमारा ड्यूटीज करना नहीं चाहते. आजकल बच्चों को माँ बाप को संभालना नहीं है, उनको वृद्धाश्रम भेजना है, बट पैसा चाहिए उनको. काम ना, पैसा चाहिए, वो काम है. और धर्म तो पहले करो. Dharma means one has to take care of his parents, a daughter-in-law should take care of his mother-in-law, father-in-law. Whatever the dharma is, that dharma has to be followed. So, dharma, artha. Then, dharma से अर्थ निकाल. Artha means benefits. Benefits हम लोग generally अर्थ का क्या समझते हैं? धन. No. Artha means benefits. What does this benefit? It gives you good desires for karma. It leads, everything is chain reaction. If you do dharma generally people connected with religion. No. Religion has nothing to do with dharma. Dharma means your duty. First, your duty. If you're a father, you have to do a duty of a father, a son's duty, you have to do a duty of yours towards your state, towards your country, towards your mother, your society, your samaj, whatever you must say. So many duties we have got to. And सब कुछ सही कर. And why Ramayana is important with respect to this? Lord Ramchandra ji first said, मैं भगवत गीता बाद में दूंगा, पहले रामचंद्र जी बन के जी के दिखाऊंगा कि कैसे जीना चाहिए. Even in the worst of my situation, when my father told me to go to the forest, I happily went. When I came back, I got back the kingdom, I didn't go mad. हम लोग को ऐसे होते हैं ना, अगर किसी को 100 करोड़ का लॉटरी लग गया है, कौन प्रभु जी आप, कौन भगवान, अब मैं ही भगवान, मेरे पास ही पैसा है, मैं बलवान. No, you go crazy. So that is why Lord Ramchandra shows anything in this world is temporary. All this is mentioned. Anityam asukham lokam, Lord has said in the Bhagavad Gita. But pehle, he has demonstrated in the Rama. I was to be coronated in the morning and immediately I am exiled that very day. जहां मुझे coronation होना था, जहां मुझे राजा घोषित होना था, उस दिन मैं चला गया वन में. So what does this mean? Anityam, nothing is nitya. Nitya means forever. बहुत क्षणिक है. और अनित्यम असुखम, सुख भी नहीं है, असुख था. 14 साल वहां पे थे, फिर यहाँ पे आया, बाद में पत्नी से दूर हो गया, तो अनित्यम असुखम लोग. So this is what we have to understand. Entire Ramayana you can compare with the Bhagavad Gita only when you understand what Ramchandra ji did and why he did. He could have also said, hey, I cannot go to the forest. I will not go. What mistake I have done? What crime have I done? You have given the word, it's your problem. तुमने दशरथ ने कैकेयी को प्रॉमिस किया था ना, मेरा कहाँ, मैं क्यों, तुम्हारा गलती के लिए मैं क्यों भुगतूं? This is will be the attitude of today's situation. But once when one of my senior was talking to me and we were discussing, said, अगर आज के जमाने में सीता को बोला मैं जा रहा हूँ वन में, रुको, मैं अभी पापा को फोन करती हूँ, अभी वकील को बुलाती हूँ, स्टैम्प पेपर मंगाती हूँ, केस फाइल करेंगे, हम लोग क्या है, हम लोग ऐसा कैसे जाएंगे. So it's different. Kala is different, no doubt. Times are different. But one has to understand, even in adverse situation, one has to undergo. Wife has to stand by him. Wife has to stand by husband's bad times also. You cannot say, I'll take only your good times, your bad times I will not accept. So this is what is dharma. So the entire Ramayana teaches you dharma at each and every step, each and every turn of Ramayana teaches you dharma. Then from that, artha. What are the benefits? What are the things you benefit? Then dharma, artha, kama. Then what you should desire? What you should desire? Once you have learned. Now, if just imagine, Ramchandra ji is waiting all 14 years. कब मुझे वापस मेरा राज्य पाठ मिलेगा, कब मैं आराम से सोऊंगा, कब मैं एकदम राजा बन के एकदम घूमते रहूंगा. No. Why? He's trying to teach us. अनित्यम असुखम. तो उसमें कि तुम बार बार उस चीज के बारे में पाने की चेष्टा क्यों करो? उससे अच्छा किस चीज की चेष्टा करनी चाहिए, किस चीज की कामना करनी चाहिए? That is moksha. Getting out of the cycle of birth and death. जब तक यहाँ रहोगे, कभी अच्छा तो कभी बुरा, sometimes happy, sometimes sad, sometimes very very happy, sometimes very very sad. At what time are you in equilibrium of happiness? At no point you are in equilibrium of happiness or in distress. Can you command, no, आज मैं सुखी रहूंगा, आज चलेगा, थोड़ा दुख आएगा चलेगा? No. I have already described, no. Happiness means that gap between two sadness is happiness. Before Ramchandra ji could go to the forest, and before killing Tataka, That was the time when Ramchandra ji went to Ayodhya, broke the bow, got married, everything goody nice was happening. So that was a time gap between two sadness. पहले भी sadness था, मतलब जंगल में जाना था, but second time big sadness. 14 years के लिए वनवास जाना था. तो उसके पहले क्या good times क्या था? Married life and 10-12 साल सुखी थी. So point we have to understand is moksha is what should be the end goal of every grantha or every scripture. And when you get this goal clear, then you will try to get it. आप उस चीज को प्राप्त करने के बारे में सोचोगे. तो अगर आपको ये आपका जीवन का लक्ष्य आपको सही रहेगा तो आप उस लक्ष्य को प्राप्त करने की कोशिश करोगे. लक्ष्य ही पता नहीं रहेगा, when you will not know your goal itself, how will you go and try to achieve it? Let's say suppose you go to the house. Let's say you're staying in Mumbai, you want to go from Andheri, you go and stand in the station. You don't know where to go. बस जाना है. You cannot. अरे बोरीवली जाना है, चर्चगेट साइड जाना है, कहाँ जाना है, कुछ तो डिसाइड. So you go to Andheri station, then you see, oh, my goal is to go to Churchgate. Fine. Then you take a train, go to Churchgate. When you don't know where to go, which train you will take? जो train आएगा चलेगा, विरार भी जाऊंगा, Churchgate भी जाऊंगा. You cannot. It's not possible. So for us to have the goal of our life clear is the first priority. जिस दिन वो goal clear हो जाएगा, आगे की चीजें अपने आप खुलती जाएगी, अपने आप आसान होती जाएगी. So that is why he is saying very specifically that he composed this composition includes not only pleasure and justifies desire and along with economic growth, but also elaborates on quality of religiosity, that is dharma. I'll give a small example to explain much better. कामना किया, सीता मैया ने सोने के हिरण का कामना किया. डिजायर, काम. और उस काम का परिणाम क्या हुआ? She was kidnapped. She had to go to Lanka and stay for a year. So what is Valmiki or this entire Grantha trying to teach us? Don't desire things other than God. We should try to achieve God. Don't try to achieve God to put him on work so that he can get material gains. सीता मैया ने क्या किया? रामचंद्र जी को भेज दिया ये सोने का हिरण लेके आने के लिए. अरे आपके पास जब रामचंद्र जी हैं तो आपको सोने के हिरण की क्या जरूरत है? So this is a teaching. They are not fools. They are just acting a drama. They are just enacting a play to teach us what and how we should behave in our life. वनवास ऑलमोस्ट खत्म हो चुका था, 1 साल बाकी था. ठीक है, ये लीला का एक भाग था. अगर नहीं होता तो शायद रावण मरेगा कैसे? I don't deny. But still, each and every turn gives us what we should desire and what we should not desire. Vibhishan Sharanagati to Lord Ramchandra ji. What does it show? Even if you are coming from a very bad family background, आपका घर में कोई भक्त नहीं है, आपके घर में कोई भगवान के रुझान किसी को नहीं है, ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं. बट कम से कम आपके अंदर रुझान है, जाओ और रात को. When did Vibhishan go and surrender to Lord Ramchandra ji? In the middle of the night. रात को तुरंत. क्यों? शरणागति लेने के लिए वक्त नहीं देखा जाता. Whenever you want to do शरणागति, do it now, because कल का पता नहीं है, इस पल का ठिकाना नहीं, कल का क्या बात है. Time is so uncertain, life is so uncertain. So better is do शरणागति immediately, and that is what Ramayana is teaching us. So this is why it is full of thing. Plus, it is giving pleasure. Why it is giving pleasure? What is so great about it? It's very simple. Anything spoken about the Lord is always pleasure giving. हम लोग के अंदर फैमिली में भी गॉसिप्स होता है, राइट? स्पेशली आप कोई शादी वादी में जाके आ गए, शादी से आने के बाद, अरे वो ऐसी थी, वो वैसे बोली, ये वो ऐसे बोला, ये वो ऐसे बोला, एंड सो मेनी old graves are dug, and most of the time you are not in a pleasurable situation, you are in a displeasurable situation, because you know कुछ ना कुछ उसने बोला रहेगा, आपने भी कुछ बोल के आया होगा. It won't be a pleasurable situation. Whereas when you speak about God to anyone, or anyone speaks to you about God, it is always pleasurable, आनंदमय. हमेशा आपको भगवान की कथा, सुनी हुई कथा है, पूरा रामायण. अभी आजकल के बच्चों को तो पता नहीं है, बट पहले जमाने के लोगों को सब अच्छी तरह से पता था नेक्स्ट क्या सीन होने वाला. विडंबना है आजकल के स्कूल के बच्चों को नॉनसेंस सिखाया जाता है. थ्रू एआई दे वॉच नॉनसेंस, बट दे डोंट लर्न these granthas, or rather it's not being taught. So young generation doesn't know, but we all know, elders knew very well what is going to be the next scene. Oh, अभी सीता का अपहरण होगा, अब जटायु आएगा, जटायु का पंख कट जाएगा, then जटायु मर जाएगा, रामचंद्र जी उसका. The next scene, every scene is known, but still when you're watching the Ramayana, you're still excited. What makes it so great? When you know the story. When you know the story, every inch, every bit, every second of it, you know it, but still you are excited. Why? The only reason is Katha of the Lord itself is attractive. It attracts a person to core. लगता है हाँ मैं और सुनूं, और भगवान के बारे में सुनूं. That is why, you know, Atriptusam Munimande Prachesas Kalmasham, we read about Valmiki na in the Suti. What is that? Atriptusam Munimande. उसको तृप्ति नहीं होती, अतृप्त. कितना भी वो भगवान के बारे में बोले, कितना भी लिखे, कितना भी सोचे, 24,000 श्लोकास का है ये रामायण. He could have abridged it in 1,000 shlokas or 500 shlokas, but he has gone in such a detail, giving all the various details. Yes. Then the last line is very important. Samudra iva ratnam adhyam sarvam shruti manoharam. It's very important. Samudra iva ratna adhyam. रत्न कहाँ से मिलता है? समुद्र का पानी सबसे सॉल्टी वाटर है. इट्स नॉट एट ऑल प्लीजिंग. सॉल्ट वाटर को किसी को पीने का मन करता है. अब नहा के भी आओगे तो पूरा बदन चिप 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 चिप. बट समुद्र के जल से निकलता क्या है? रत्न, जेम्स, रत्न निकलता है. तो ये रत्न है, जैसे समुद्र में से रत्न निकलते हैं, और रत्न कितने निकलते हैं? अनगिनत. मतलब इट्स द सोर्स ऑफ जेम्स इज द ओशन, द सी. Similarly, from Ramayana, the pleasure and valuable gem-like knowledge you will get from the Ramayana. And then the last word, Manoramam. What is that? Shruti Manoramam. Listening to that is delightful. I know many people who used to love listening the talk between Kaikeyi and Mantra. कुछ भी exciting नहीं है उसमें. They are plotting against Lord Ramchandra, but सुनने में अच्छा लगता. उसमें भी कई बीच बीच में कई बार कई is glorifying Lord Ram. So everything that is, you know, how many of you remember the Trishloki Bhagavad Gita? Machita Matkata Prana Bodhayancha Parasparam Katayancha Mam Nityam Tushyanti Cha Ramanati Cha. This is the already Lord has told this in the Bhagavad Gita also. Same matter. See, says Tushyanti Cha Ramanati Cha. Tushyanti. What was Tushyanti? बोधयंच परस्परम. आपस में जब भक्त बात करेंगे, क्या बात करते हैं? मेरी कथा कहते हैं. भगवान कहते हैं मेरी कथा बात कर. अगर वो क्या देता है उनको? तुष्यंती, सैटिस्फैक्शन. इट गिव्स सैटिस्फैक्शन. एंड रमणती, रमणती मतलब अच्छा, gives you pleasant feeling. First is satisfaction and then it's pleasant. Whereas you see any serial, you see any materialistic serial or movie, ठीक है, एक बार दो बार थोड़ा सा आप आनंद जैसा कुछ एहसास होगा. You will not get true happiness. या आप पढ़ के आप सो भी जाओ तो नींद में भी आपको रामचंद्र जी की लीलाएं दिखेगी, कृष्ण की लीलाएं दिखेगी. You read Bhagavad, you read Ramayana, you read Bhagavad Gita. Everywhere you will see Lord's presence in each and every word, and that is what makes this special. So that's why the explanation says ocean may look like a huge collection of salty water, but it has so many gems hidden in it. Similarly, the Ramayana may look just like a story of Lord Rama, but it also gives us all the goal of human life, like religiosity, economic growth, pleasure, and finally liberation, dharma, artha, kama, moksha. So it is said that one who reads the Ramayana scrutinizingly gets the benefit of reading the Vedas. The end goal of the Vedas and the Ramayana is the same. Very important. रामायण पढ़ने से रामायण बना क्यों दो इतिहास बने थे, एक रामायण और एक महाभारत. क्यों बने? What is the reason? दोनों में और कुछ नहीं, सिर्फ और सिर्फ वेद ही है. It is nothing but the Vedas, but the Vedas is huge. अथर्ववेद, सामवेद, यजुर्वेद, कितना वेद पढ़ोगे आप? 4 वेदास पढ़ना, वो भी उसके साथ उपनिषद, देन पुराणास, ये सब का सार क्या किया? एक स्टोरी फॉर्मेट में दे दिया रामायण, एक स्टोरी फॉर्मेट में दे दिया महाभारत. एंड उसके हर मोड में, एट एवरी टर्न ऑफ द रामायण एंड एवरी टर्न ऑफ द महाभारत is giving us a lesson from the Vedas. What the Vedas are saying, it is only highlighted in the form of a story. One should not be attached. One should not be attached to anything in this world. One should be ready to get detached. This is what Lord Ramchandra ji has displayed. We'll take one more shloka and then we'll close the class. So yata kathitam purvam नारदेन महात्मनः रघुवंशं चरितram chakra bhagavan muni. As narrated earlier by the great soul Narada, the great sage Valmiki composed the legend of Lord Rama, who was born in the dynasty of King Raghu. So यहाँ से the entire Ramayana in short, जैसा हम लोग ने chapter 1 में संक्षेप रामायण पढ़ा ना, अब वही वापस यहाँ पे स्टार्ट होगा. I will not start with this because next week we will just go read through this entire thing and go to chapter number 4 if possible, because I'm planning to finish off this chapter 3 in the next session. So basically now Valmiki Muni is all set to write the Ramayana because of the blessings of his guru Narad Muni and because of Brahmaji's blessings and bestowing on him the yogic powers. Okay, with this I'd like to